Keep up the good work there, soldiers. Anyway, hi. Welcome back to Mass Effect 2 Legendary Edition. For today's mission, no, we've only got the one loyalty mission left to do. So let's go see why Tali is being accused of treason. Once I've done this, the next few episodes will probably be just some assorted side quests. Yeah, along with some stuff at the Shadow Broker base. There we go. Valhallan Threshold. And no actual planets in this system. 2 stars. Binary system. Neat. A fleet of 50,000 craft holding over 17 million Quarians. The Migrant Fleet is the largest array of spacefaring vessels in the known galaxy. Though Quarians on pilgrimage have visited most settled worlds in the galaxy, few outsiders have ever stepped foot inside the Quarian ships. So let's talk. So let's see who to bring along. As always, who you bring along is completely, totally irrelevant in terms of story. No matter who you bring along, none of them are actually going to contribute to the dialogue or anything like that. Even though Garrus and Tali are friends and have been friends since the first Normandy, even though they've known each other since the first Normandy, bringing Garrus along doesn't open up any extra dialogue. Bringing along Miranda or Jacob, no extra dialogue, even though the Quarians obviously hate Cerberus. So, who you bring along is down entirely to who you feel will be most useful for you on any given mission. Morden obviously is not going to be very useful. Neural Shock isn't really going to be useful against the... I suppose I'm spoiling, but... realistically, Garrus probably is actually the best squad mate to bring along. He may not contribute to the narrative, but he's very useful to have along for the combat portion of the mission. Because, spoiler, there's combat on this mission. See, I'm gonna bring Garrus. Sure, why not? Quarian ship design is pretty interesting.
This is Talizora Vasnima Naraya, requesting permission to dock with the Raya.
Our system has your ship flagged as Cerberus. Verify.
After time adrift among open stars, along tides of light and through shoals of dust, I will return to where I began.
Permission granted. Talizora?
We'd like a security and quarantine team to meet us. Our ship is not clean.
Understood. Approach exterior docking cradle 17.
Get off your asses, soldiers.
Captain Shepard, Talizora told me a lot about you. I wish we could be meeting under more pleasant circumstances.
Side note, so it's pretty clear by that whole after time adrift of the stars, that whole thing. The way she recites it makes it clear that it is a confirmation code, basically. And it's not actually stated in the game, but her additional comment about requesting security, our ship is not clean, that is actually an extra part of the confirmation message. In one of the books, Ascension, I guess. Yeah, so in Mass Effect Ascension, Cerberus captured and tortured a Quarian into giving them the message needed to dock, giving that after time adrift message. But he didn't specify, or as I don't remember if he actually told them the second part of it or not. But the book mentions that as being a necessary part of the security message. Basically, if a Quarian doesn't say that part of it, then the ship is treated as hostile.
I've never actually reached the rank of captain. Technically, I'm no longer in the Alliance military at all.
You're the commander of the Normandy, responsible for the lives aboard it. That entitles you to respect among our people.
Oh, thanks,
May you
Nana.
stand between your crew and harm as you lead them through the empty quarters of the stars.
I do that.
Keep us alive. It's an old ship captain's blessing, Shepard.
Tali helped the Normandy's crew out of many difficult situations. I'm here to return the favor.
I understand. As the commander of the vessel she serves on, your voice carries weight. I wish I could do more to help, Tali. The trial requires that I be officially neutral, but I'm here if you need to talk. They're charging you with bringing active Geth into the fleet as part of a secret project.
That's insane. I never brought active Geth aboard. I only sent parts and pieces.
Caldana here is voiced by Mark Meer, same person who voices the male Commander Shepard. And actually, now that I know that it's him, I can't not hear it in his voice anymore.
You sent Geth materials back to the migrant fleet?
Yes, my father was working on a project. He needed the materials. If I sent back something that was only damaged, not permanently inactive, no, I checked everything. I was careful.
Technically, I'm under orders to place Talizora under arrest pending the hearing. So, Tali, you're confined to this ship until this trial is over.
Thank you, Captain.
Preparations got underway as soon as you arrived. The hearing's being held in the Garden Plaza. Good luck. You should speak with Admiral Ran. She's waiting for you up ahead.
I can't believe they're charging Talizora with such a thing.
So, yeah, you can overhear people talking.
They shouldn't let that human speak for Talizora. It's not right.
Loyalty to the fleet is about more than just killing Geth. Talizora is guilty.
Hey.
not all humans are bad, but this one is from Cerberus. I can't believe they're charging Tali Zora with such a thing.
If Tali Zora can't even get a Quarian captain to stand for her, she's as good as convicted.
Kind of spoiling something up ahead.
Loyalty to the fleet is about more than just killing Geth. Tali Zora is guilty.
Yeah.
Tali Zora of us, Normandy. I am glad you came. I could delay them only so long.
Auntie Ron, Shepherd Vas Normandy, this is Admiral Shalaran Vas Tonbe. She's a friend of my father's. Wait, Ron, you called me Vas Normandy.
I'm afraid I did, Tali. The Admiralty Board moved to have you tried under that name, given your departure from the Nima.
That could be complicated. That does sound like a complicated thing. Shala here is voiced by Shorey Agdashlu, who is best known for the series 24. She played a character on 24, but she's played a bunch of characters in a bunch of places. She's Iranian. She's an Iranian actress. Iranian? Whichever is the more accepted pronunciation. Yeah, she's Iranian, and pretty notable actress.
I take it being associated with a human ship is a bad sign.
They stripped me of my ship name. That's as good as declaring me exiled already.
It's not over yet, Tali. You have friends who still know you as Tali Zora Vas Nima. Whatever we must call you legally.
You're an admiral. Does that mean you're one of the judges?
I'm afraid not. My history with Tali and her father forced me to recuse myself.
I imagine father had to do the same.
You'll see inside, Tali. For my part, I moderate and ensure that the rules of protocol are followed, but I have no vote in the judgment.
Alright.
I guess we should get started. Does Tali have a defense counselor? Someone who speaks for her side.
Indeed she does, Captain Shepard. She is part of your crew now, recognized by Quarian law. And remember, an accused is always represented by his or her ship's captain.
So, you would actually speak for my defense?
It would have been helpful to know about this earlier, Tali.
Our legal rules are simple. There are no legal tricks or political loopholes for you to worry about. Present the truth as best you can. It will have to be enough. Now come. I promise that I would not delay you.
So, yeah, there's a complication. Kind of wish there were a few more Quarians. I mean, there's a bunch here, but I kind of wish that there were even more Quarians milling around. The Admiralty.
This conclave is brought to order. Blessed are the ancestors who kept us alive, sustained us, and enabled us to reach this season. Kill us alive. The accused Tali Zora Vas Normandy has come with her captain to defend herself against the charge of treason.
Objection! A human has no business at a hearing involving such sensitive military matters.
Then you should not have declared Tali crew of the Normandy, Admiral Chorus. By right as Tali's captain, Shepard must stay.
Haha. Suck on that, dude.
Objection withdrawn.
Shepard Vas Normandy, your crew member Tali Zora stands accused of treason. Will you speak for her?
Duh, of course I will.
If it helps Tali, I will. But in her heart, she remains Tali Zora Vasnima, a proud member of the migrant fleet. I regret that her captain is forbidden to stand at her side today.
Nobody has been forbidden from anything. It is a simple...
Lie to them if you must, Zalcoris, but don't lie to me and expect me to stay silent. The human is right.
Admirals, please. Shepard's willingness to represent Tali Zora in this hearing is appreciated. Tali,
Complications?
you're accused of bringing active guests to the
Tensions?
migrant fleet. What say you?
There's some tensions there.
Tali would never endanger the migrant fleet. She pleads not guilty.
I left parts and technology for teams to pick up. My father ordered me to do so, but I would never send active guests to the fleet. Everything I sent was disabled and harmless.
Then explain how Geth seized the lab ship where your father was working.
Whoa.
What are you talking about? What happened?
As far as we can tell, Tali, the Geth have killed everyone on the Alarai. Your father included.
What? Oh, Keela.
I appreciate the need for this trial, Admirals. But right now, our first concern must be the safety of the migrant fleet. The Normandy stands ready to assist in whatever capacity necessary.
Thank you. Quarry and strike teams have attempted to retake the ship, so far without success.
Shepard, we have to take back the Alarai.
The safest course would be to simply destroy the ship. But if you are looking for an honorable death instead of exile...
I'm looking for my father, you bastet!
You intend to retake the Alarai from the Geth? This proposal is extremely dangerous.
Yeah, so Boschtet seems to be sort of a pretty strong swear in the Quarian language. So, yeah, her just yelling that at an admiral, clearly angry.
I'm here to help, and I'm good at killing Geth.
Then it is decided. You will attempt to retake the Alarai.
I'm so modest.
You are hereby given leave to depart the Raya. A shuttle will be waiting at the secondary docking hangar. Be safe, Tali. This hearing will resume upon your return, or upon determination that you have been killed in action.
Yeah, there's a bombshell.
Thank you for agreeing to take back the Alarai, Shepard. The Admiral sounds sure that my father is already dead, but... I don't know. We won't know anything until we get there.
How are you holding up? They just threw a lot of fire at you, even before telling you about your father.
I knew this would be bad, but I guess you're never really prepared to be charged with treason. And my father, I don't know. He could still be alive. They don't know for certain that he's dead. I just don't know, Shepard, and I need to find out.
Is there anyone here you want to talk to before we go?
We can talk with the Admirals. It might help us to see what their viewpoints are. But I doubt we'll change anyone's mind by talking to them privately.
Let's go.
And it's not really a high priority.
The sooner we get to the Alarai, the sooner we'll know what happened.
Shepard, the secondary docking hangar is through the conclave chamber where you are now. The shuttle they have provided is unarmed.
Understood.
Whatever Geth are on the Alarai have likely built more of themselves. Expect heavy resistance.
Understood.
You set me up, Shala. You told Captain Donna not to say anything? I don't hear that my father may be dead until I'm in the trial? Why?
The Admirals needed to hear
Righteous
the
anger
shock in your voice, Tali. Otherwise, they might not have let you try to retake the Alarai. That is your best chance at recovering evidence that can exonerate you. I am sorry. We cannot afford sensitivity, Tali.
Yeah, that was a bit.
I know you're trying to help her, Admiral, but that was over the line.
She has nobody else to speak for her, Shepard. I am doing everything in my power. That's what her father would have wanted.
Don't say it like that. He could still be alive on that ship.
You should get to the Alarai soon. Is there anything else I can tell you?
What can you tell us about the Alarai?
Not much, I'm afraid. Real Zora only said that he was researching new defense technology.
He told me only that he needed any Geth parts or pieces I found. I assumed he was testing weapons on Geth components.
We knew nothing until the Alarai sent a distress signal, then went dead. We didn't even know about the Geth until a boarding team was attacked.
You're saying there's no data about the inside of the ship?
That's exactly what I am saying. The
Helpful.
Marines who survived and escaped saw bodies in the halls. We must assume the worst.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
How long have you known Tali's family?
Since before Real was an admiral. 25 or 30 years, I'd guess. I was there when Tali was born. Her mother and I had synced up our suits so we could be in the same open-air room. I was sick for a week, but it was worth it. I was the one who took Tali from her mother and put her in the bubble. She cried so hard.
Bubble?
I don't understand. You put your children in bubbles?
Environmental units. It's a step between relying on the mother's immune system through nursing and getting a suit of one's own.
The bubbles let parents take their children out of the clean rooms safely. We don't wear suits until adolescence.
There's a celebration when a child gets her first suit. It's a coming of age.
Interesting.
I'm not hearing much about Rail's involvement in Tali's life.
It's difficult to explain. I shouldn't.
It's all right, Anshala. No secrets between shipmates. I think I told Shepard about my father.
If you say so. Real was committed to the Quarian cause. That didn't leave him a lot of time for his family. He wanted to give Tali and her mother the home world, or a strong fleet at least. That was how he showed his love.
Better to show your love by spending time with your family, I always figure, but...
What kind of evidence will carry weight with the Admirals?
Tali, you admitted to sending Geth parts to your father for his project.
Yes, but never anything that could have come back online on its own. I took every possible precaution.
Then find records of your shipment and experiments. Something that proves you were careful. Something that proves that this is all just a terrible accident that nobody could have foreseen.
There seem to be some other arguments going on among the Admirals.
You caught that. Yes, the Geth's presence makes this a touchy issue. The Admiralty Board is trying to determine whether to focus on colonial development or attempt to retake the home world.
You're thinking
Colonial.
of war? With the Geth?
I am not, Tali, but others are.
Focus on colonial
I
development.
know the migrant fleet is formidable, but even you can't take on the Geth.
We grow tired of wandering the stars, Shepard. We want our world back. We have paid enough for our mistake. I'm not giving
That's
you
fair.
my opinion. I'm telling you which way the wind is blowing.
It's a fair opinion, but...
We should move on.
Good luck on the Alarai.
Like, it's a fair argument, but... No,
Shepard spoke well to the Admirals.
it's still a bad idea. Focus on colonial development. And hey, here's Vitor. For the record, if you gave Vitor back to Cerberus, back on Freedom's Progress, he is doing much, much worse than he is here.
Shepard? How did you get onto the Raya?
Shepard is here to help me with my trial.
Oh yes, I heard about that. I hope you didn't really do what they said you did.
No, Vitor. I would never endanger the fleet.
Oh, well, good. So, can I help you with anything? I mean, probably not, but you helped me.
Tali could use some friends right now. Would you be willing to tell the Admirals how she helped you?
No, I mean, yes, but I already did. They came to see me. I didn't want to talk in a crowd.
Vitor is doing well, but he isn't ready for a public speech just yet.
I talked to them. So
His
did that
therapist.
soldier, Cal Rieger. We both told them about how you helped us. I hope it helped.
I'm sure it did, Vitor. Thank you.
I like the way his anxiety has him sort of bouncing around.
Do you remember anything else about the Collectors? Anything at all?
Nothing new. I'm sorry. Every time I go back to that place in my mind,
Vitor, come back. It's okay.
I want to help, but I can't. I didn't see anything, and what I remember...
Don't worry, Vitor. We're going to find the things that did this, and we're going to kill them.
Good.
And how?
Thank you.
Take care of yourself, Vitor. Not many could have gone through what you did and come out sane.
I know. I didn't. But thank you, Commander. It's only because of your help that I've come this far.
So yeah, like I said, if you gave him to Cerberus, yeah, he's doing really badly.
Tali Zora, given the circumstances, are you certain that speaking to me is appropriate?
I'm looking for information about the Alarai. I don't intend to bribe you in the middle of the plaza, Admiral.
Pleasure to meet you, Commander Shepard. We owe you a debt of gratitude for your actions against the Geth.
Zen here is voiced by Claudia Black. Same person who voices the matriarch Athena back in the bar on Ilium.
Tali was with me. Saren and the Geth would have destroyed us all without her help.
Your political machinations are transparent, Commander. They are also unnecessary. If you and your father were actually experimenting on active Geth subjects, then you are simply idiots. No reason to waste resources on a trial. If not, then this was a tragic accident in the pursuit of a higher cause. Again, no trial is needed to determine that.
Well.
If you're not interested in this trial, why not recuse yourself?
And let that aging warship Hangerel and the cowardly Zalcorus be the ones to chart this course? I think not. The broader purpose underlying the trial is too important. Tali Zora is only peripherally related. No offense intended.
And what is the true purpose of this trial, Admiral?
To determine whether Quarians should fear their past mistakes or reclaim their glory using our natural affinity for artificial intelligence.
Sounds dangerous.
So the only reason you care about this is because Rael might have learned something valuable from the Geth.
Indeed. If he has, then even in this accident we may find something worthwhile.
You want to create new AIs?
No, Tali Zora. I wish to return the Geth to the control of their rightful masters, the Quarian race.
You're insane.
Yeah, I like how understated Tali's comment there is.
Can you tell me anything about the Alarai?
Little. We detected several communication signatures before the Geth jammed the comm systems. Given the likely networked intelligence requirements for taking over a ship, expect between 10 and 50 units.
Then this can't have anything to do with me. I only sent parts and pieces, and certainly not enough to make that many Geth.
10 to 50? I should try to count how many. I feel like there's more than 50 on the ship, but maybe I'll try to count.
Sounds like your ideas about synthetics are in the minority.
Yes, at least on the Admiralty board, Hangerel sees an enemy that must be crushed. Zalcorus would run away and hide on some new colony world. Shalaran is still undecided. I had thought Rael to be firmly in Han's camp, but if his experiments were on active Geth, perhaps we have ideas in common.
If we don't find Rael alive on the Alarai, what do you think will happen?
The power balance will be disrupted. Han loses a vote for his foolish and self-destructive war. That would favor peace then, as Shalaran is too careful to risk her own neck. But if the Admiral replacing Rael agrees with me, things could become very exciting.
Let's hope the Admiral who replaces you doesn't agree with you.
You support experiments on living creatures.
Rael should have felt no more guilt experimenting on Geth than I did while performing surgery on a childhood toy.
The fact that you performed surgery on your childhood toys explains a great deal, Admiral.
A ship travels faster than I can. With the right programming, it can choose locations, even defend itself when attacked. But it is just a machine. It was built for the sole purpose of serving its master, and it can be dismantled whenever its master desires.
And the Geth seem to have some level of sentience. So...
Thank you for the information.
It was a pleasure to meet you, Commander.
From what little we know about them, at least.
Tali, Zora, and her father are out of control. This is on their heads.
And hey, Cal! Obviously, if you didn't save him on the planet where we recruited Tali, Haestrom, then he's not here. But I did save him. Because I'm awesome.
Call Rieger.
Shepard, Tali, Zora.
Adam Baldwin.
Good to see you both. Wish you were under better circumstances.
What did they get from our readings?
Damnedest things, just like they said. No way the sun on Haestrom should have been acting that way.
So that dark energy theory is right. That's troubling.
Can't really comment on that, ma'am. I just shoot things.
Sounds like a pretty good deal for him.
What are you doing aboard the Raya? It sounds like you gave your report to the Admiralty already.
Well, I stayed to argue the charges against Tali, Zora. I've served with her, and she deserves better than what she's getting.
Thanks, Cal.
What
Just
a sweetheart.
Facts, ma'am.
What a nice guy.
Have you had any luck talking to the Admiralty board?
Admiral Ron asked my opinion about the Geth since I'd fought on Haestrom. She and Admiral Gerrel are hoping you'll kill a bunch of Geth to get the crowd on your side, then find evidence to clear your name. They were hesitant, but, well, you didn't have many other options, ma'am. I recommended getting you onto the Alarai. I hope you can handle it.
You did the right thing. Thank you.
We'll handle it just fine. I've been in way more dangerous situations. I fought through whole armies of Geth. I'll be fine.
You said that your mission had something to do with dark energy?
Right. Remember the damn sun on Haestrom? Shorted out everything. Way too much radiation? The sun's getting old. Only it's not. Dark energy. It's reducing the mass of the star's interior. Techs are worried.
Do you think the Geth are responsible for what's happening to Haestrom's sun?
Keela, I hope not. They can screw up a star, our chances in war are even worse than I thought.
I don't think this is the Geth. It would take massive time and resources to affect a star like this deliberately. It's too inefficient to be a weapon, and even the Geth wouldn't destroy a useful star system. Besides, they didn't show up until we did.
I hope you're right, ma'am. Synthetic bastards are bad enough as it is.
What does that dark energy buildup mean? Is it something we should worry about?
Sorry, Shepard, I don't know what it means. Just that it has the scientists worried.
Hopefully it's isolated, some rare phenomenon. If dark energy can destabilize solar material. Probably not something to worry about now. But resources in this galaxy are scarce enough without stars suddenly going dead.
Some days I think flying around in the fleet without a planet of our own is the right idea.
I mean, it's not. You do need a home, but...
Have you been, Rieger? You took kind of a beating on Haestrom.
Physical damage wasn't bad. I was down for about a week with infection, though. Figure I got off easy. I don't have to face those admirals.
With your immune systems, it couldn't be easy for Quarians to fight a war. You'd lose more people to infection than injury.
We can't afford a frontline attack, that's for sure. Have to fight smart. Ideally from orbit.
We do have stockpiles of antibiotics. It's not as though everyone would die from a single shot.
No, Shepard's right. You've only seen our strike ops, Tali. Don't have all the fancy equipment in a frontline fight. Supplies get strained. Things get ugly, fast.
So yeah, the dark energy stuff, that plot is just about over and done with. So I will spoil something here, which is sort of a non-spoiler. So the original plan, well, not the original plan, but what the writers of Mass Effect 2 were planning was that, I think the idea was that the Mass Effect would create dark energy that was destabilizing the galaxy, and what the Reapers were doing, the reason the Reapers kept exterminating organic life, was to prevent that buildup of dark energy. That was what the writers had planned. That is not what ended up being carried over into Mass Effect 3. So all this dark energy stuff, all the dark energy buildup from Mass Effect 2, pretty much completely and entirely dropped in Mass Effect 3.
We should get going.
Good luck on the Alarai. Stay safe out there.
So, like I said,
The
sort of...
human can work a crowd, I'll admit that much.
So yeah, like I said, almost an anti-spoiler there.
If anyone can retake the Alarai, Tali Zora can.
So, both Garrel and... no, actually, never mind. So yeah, Han Garrel here is voiced by Simon Templeman.
Tali, I'm glad Admiral Rahn got you leave to hit the Alarai. Hopefully you'll find something that clears your name.
I'm more concerned with finding my father, Admiral.
I wish you luck. Blow up some Geth on the way. And your Captain Shepard, Admiral Hangarel Vasnima. You got Admiral Corris backing up worse than a Krogan toilet. I'm glad to see Tali's captain knows how to handle a courtroom.
Krogan toilet. I like his way with words. I will say that.
I'm just here to help Tali, Admiral.
I'm glad someone is.
You believe I'm innocent, don't you, Admiral?
I know you and your father. You put too much of yourselves into this fleet to do anything to jeopardize our safety. And you're both smart enough not to make mistakes like the ones they're saying you made.
Good to know. Thank you very much, Admiral, for sticking up for him. Or for her, I should say.
Can you tell me anything about the Alarai?
Nothing good. We sent some of our best Marines into that hellhole. Damn few made it back. Whatever Rail was doing, it blew up in his face. A ship is crawling with Geth. Don't go in expecting survivors.
Admiral, my father, your friend, is on that ship.
I know that, Tali, but if Shala hadn't suggested you might volunteer, we'd already have destroyed the Alarai. That's where we stand.
Sounds bad. Yeah, that does sound like he's pretty good friends with Rail, with Tali's dad.
You and Tali's father go back a long ways?
We served together on the gunship Yaska during a bad Batarian raid. We were kids, serving pre-pilgrimage as trainees. Crew of 10, and 6 were dead. Kinetic barriers were down. Rail and I were alone on the bridge, and the Batarians had drawn off a tramp freighter.
That sounds bad.
Did you save the freighter?
Our ship was under orders to hold position, but Rail looked at me and said, "We're underage. They can't charge us for breaking formation." He took the helm, I took weapons, and we brought that freighter back. The crew called us heroes. The brass called us idiots. They slapped medals on our suits, then kicked us off to pilgrimage a bit earlier than usual. That's Rail for you.
I love that story. That is such a great story. Yeah, it's just... Yeah, it indicates that Rail's got a... It does indicate a slight recklessness on Rail's part, but also a lot of determination. So... Yeah, it's a really good story.
Can you tell me about the other admirals? Anything that might help me change their minds about Tali?
The one you didn't recognize, Tali, is Admiral Zen. She's on the fence. She takes fleet safety very seriously. On the other hand, she's always been in favor of studying the Geth. I hope she sees the benefits of Rail's research. Admiral Corris is the same whining suit wetter he always was.
So I'm getting that that Geralt and Chorus aren't particularly good friends.
You disagree with Admiral Corris's policies, I'm guessing. Or is it personal?
The man is a damn Geth apologist. Thinks we were wrong to try to destroy them centuries ago. He wants us to search for new colony possibilities instead of taking back the home world. Any research on the Geth makes him angry. You don't have much of a chance with him, I'm afraid.
Ah, well.
Sounds like we're dealing with more politics than just Tali bringing back equipment.
You noticed that, did you?
Wasn't
Tali's
subtle.
father wasn't just running weapons tests on the Geth for fun. He was looking for something to give us an edge when we attacked the Geth in full-scale war.
I know Father wanted to retake the homeworld someday, but are we that close?
I don't know, kid. We almost had the votes. We just need to give people hope for victory.
I don't know that you have hope for victory, though. The Geth are powerful, and you have a bunch of old ships.
I hope the Quarian people find someplace to live, Admiral. But it sounds like you're playing with fire.
We're too comfortable now, Shepard. We've got the largest fleet in the galaxy and we just ride around doing nothing.
We might need that fleet to help fight the Reapers, Admiral.
Then we need a world to shelter our non-combatants while we do it.
I mean, that's true. But you can just colonize a world. So yeah, it is very risky. I don't think the Quarians have the numbers to win that war.
Thanks for the information.
Hang in there, kid.
Thank you, Admiral.
More to the point, they don't have the capability of replenishing their numbers well enough. They lose people to infection too easily. Anyway, Chorus.
Judging by your ability to play to a crowd, human, I have done Tali a favor by stripping Vas Nima from her name.
Commander Shepard, this is Admiral Zalcorus Vas Quibquib. Do not ask about the name.
I take no pleasure in this, Tali, truly. But you have gravely endangered and dishonored our fleet.
Chorus here is voiced by Martin Jarvis. That's it. Admiral Chorus Vas Quibquib. Don't ask about the name, huh?
You have a ship named Quib?
Oh, here we go.
Our people have, during difficult periods, purchased pre-owned vessels from other cultures. And have, on occasion, had difficulty altering the ship's registry information. The citizens of these foreign-named ships have borne the stigma of these names with grace and honor.
Quib, for the record, is a reference to a prose series, Berserker, by Fred Saberhagen, which is about a bunch of city-sized spacefaring robots intent on destroying all life in the galaxies. The Berserkers themselves are relics of an ancient war between two now extinct alien species. So, yeah, kind of ring a bell, right? A bunch of ancient spacefaring machines Destroying all life in the galaxy? Yeah, just a little bit of familiarity there. So, yeah.
If it bothers you, maybe you should find another ship.
I've occasionally entertained the idea of requesting a transfer.
Pay attention to the
Something
mission.
with a nice, respectable name, like the Deferens or the Ictomy. But I am proud of the Quib-Quib, and I will not flee because of petty insults.
Well, good on him. So, I want you to think, remember those names. Deferens and Ictomy. And remember, Quarian naming schemes. Vas Deferens, Vas Ictomy. Yep, they decided to throw in a couple dick jokes regarding ship names. So, yeah, it's that whole thing is just them wanting to do that entire thing with his ship name is just to set up a dick joke, which I am totally down with that. I am totally okay with that.
Can you tell me anything about the LRI?
Only that you should have let us destroy it. When we find the evidence of what Tali and her father did there, any hope of convincing the other admirals will die.
I did not bring active Geth to the LRI, Admiral. I know how dangerous that would be. I only brought pieces.
The captured ship with its crew slaughtered by living beings in pain belies your argument.
Living beings in pain? So yeah, that sets up... Yeah, that indicates his feelings towards the Geth right there.
What exactly is your problem with my crew member, Admiral?
I respect Tali immensely. Her actions against Sarah are to be lauded. But, like her father, she wants nothing but the destruction of the Geth. The people we created. The people we wronged.
The Geth drove us from our homeworld.
Of course they did. We tried to kill them.
So he is a Geth sympathizer, yes.
You and the other admirals appear to have some disagreements beyond Tali's trial.
You are correct. Tali, I apologize for it being brought into your proceedings. The other admirals are pushing for war. Rael Zora was researching new weapons to use against the Geth. They would see our fleet destroyed in the skies over our homeworld, rather than find a new colony and adapt.
I mean, he's not wrong, frankly.
Can the Quarians coexist with the Geth after all your history?
I don't know. We all deserve to find out. They are our children, Shepard. We have all done horrible things to each other, but it has to end. For both groups. That is why I cannot sanction whatever experiments you helped enable, Tali Zora. I believe this message needs to be sent.
I understand, Admiral. I do not agree with you, but I understand.
Hey! Understanding between the two sides. It's possible.
We should move on.
Goodbye, Tali Zora. Be well.
I'm surprised to hear you say that.
I don't hate you, Tali. I just think your father's plans for war were wrong.
That said, I mean, there's no compromising between the two positions. Yeah, it's like, oh, I understand. But it's not like they can come to some agreement that'll settle things. Jeez, one.
Shepard spoke well to the admirals.
Damn right I did.
Even during the hearing, Tali Zora's first thought is to protect the fleet.
Damn straight
I didn't expect a human to be such a good speaker.
Something about that amuses me. Alright, so let's go kill some Geth.
Vas Nima. Oh, sorry. I mean Vas Normandy.
No offense taken. The change in name was not my choice.
Per Admiral Rand's orders, the shuttle is prepared for you and Captain Shepard Vas Normandy.
Can you tell us anything about what we'll find on the LRI?
I'm afraid I don't know much. Not many Marines made it back from the initial assault.
Unfortunate.
They talked about massive waves of Geth, though. More than there should have been.
There shouldn't have been any at all.
Right. I mean that they're afraid the Geth are building or repairing more of themselves from materials on the Alarai.
Alright, so let's go kill some Geth.
Of course. I'll unlock the shuttle now. Good luck with those Geth, Talizora. Kira Selai.
It is possibly notable that Keela Salai is one of the phrases that one of the few times where an actual alien language is spoken. Like, it doesn't get translated. Yeah, that's the sort of thing that indicates that there is no direct translation for it, which kind of cool.
Enemies! Oh!
AI hacking, I'm not a huge fan of AI hacking myself, to be honest. But it's...
Something's slowing down the systems. We're taking down the firewalls to rebalance load distribution. Railzora ordered us to bypass standard safeties. Following security protocols will take too long.
That sounds like a dangerous idea. A lot of drop stuff right there. Let's actually go in. They're all dead. They're not going to need this money. Oops. That's the one I needed.
This is one of the storage units I sent to Father. Looks like parts from a disabled repair drone, plus a reflex algorithm that I didn't recognize. I got this on Haystrom.
Haystrom was a war zone. How did you salvage gear in the middle of all that?
These suits have more pockets than you'd think. Quarians have learned how to salvage whatever we can, whenever we can. Within reason. We're not Vorcha, but we repair what most people would throw away. Hundreds of the ships in our fleet were salvaged wrecks, either found dead in space or purchased for next to nothing.
What made a part worth sending back to
They're
your
clever.
father?
It had to be in working order, something that could be analyzed and integrated into other technology. Anything new had priority. Technology the Geth had developed themselves, signs of modification, clues to their thinking.
All useful stuff.
How did you get these things to your father?
Sometimes I left packages at secure drops in civilized areas. Someone on pilgrimage would see that it was shipped home. For very valuable finds, I'd signal home, and Father would send a small ship.
Does that salvaged gear give you a clue as to what happened here?
No, I don't know. Shepard, I checked everything I sent here. I passed up great finds because they might be too dangerous, prone to uncontrolled reactivation or self-repair. I don't know which possibility is worse. That I got sloppy and sent something dangerous, or that Father actually did all this.
Yeah, neither of those are good.
This should come in handy.
Shield strength. Does sound useful.
Who's running the system diagnostic? I didn't authorize... Oh, Keela. How many Gether networked?
All of them. Rail Zora.
Shut it down! Shut everything down! They're in the system!
Uh-oh.
Look out! Oh. Scratch one!
Jeez, guy exploded on me. Well, I forgot to keep track of how many there were so far. That'd be... probably close to 10 in the main room. In the first room I went to. Good.
They're burning through the door. I don't have much time. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Jonah, if you get this, be strong for Daddy. Mommy loves you very much.
Well, that's sad. Poor Jonah. Poor Jonah losing his father. Or mother. Losing his mother. There's some frame rate issues. Frame rate drop.
Scratch one!
So that was what, maybe another 8 to 10? Something like that, I would guess. Was there anything else in this room? Yes, some palladium. And this conversation's actually kind of sad here.
This console might have something, Most of the data is corrupted, but a few bits are left. They were performing experiments on Geth systems, looking for new ways to overcome Geth resistance to reprogramming.
Interesting.
Do you think testing weapons on the Geth was right?
It's not testing weapons on prisoners, Shepard. I only sent Father parts. Even if he assembled them, they wouldn't be sapient. You saw what Saren and Sovereign did with the Geth. Any research that gives us an advantage is important.
Suppose that's fair.
Do you know what kind of tests your father was running?
No, Father just told me to send back any Geth technology I could find that wasn't a direct danger to the fleet. I suspected he might be testing weapons, but I thought he was just working on new ways to bypass shields or armor.
Given there was given Geth were being networked, yeah, he wasn't doing that.
Could any of that data clear your name?
Doubtful. This is mostly results data, effects of different disruptive hacking techniques. I don't understand all of it. But they may have been activating the Geth deliberately. I don't know. Nothing here says specifically, but if they were, then Father was doing something terrible. What was all this, Father? You promised you'd build me a house on the homeworld. Was this going to bring us back home?
Maybe it's time for your people to let go of reclaiming your world from the Geth.
You have no idea what it's like. You have a planet to go back to. My home is one hull breach away from extinction.
Fair.
You've got a place here, Tali. Don't throw it away in a war you don't need.
Don't need? Shepard, if I don't wear a helmet in my own home, I die. A single kiss could put me in the hospital. Every time you touch a flower with bare fingers, inhale its fragrance without air filters, you're doing something I can't. Damn the pilgrimage. Without it, I might never have known what I was missing, what we had lost when we lost our home world.
Yeah. Does sound rough.
Have the Quarians considered colonizing a new world?
We'd have enough difficulty reacclimating to our own native environment. Adjusting for exposure to a foreign colony would be even harder. It's the difference between 60 years and 600. For anyone alive now to watch a sunset without a mask, we must take back our home. At the very least, we can take back one ship. Come on.
I like the anger at her voice at that last part. The bitter combination of bitterness and resignation.
This should soften them up.
There we go!
Whee!
Felt that one!
Alright, so... Yeah, 50, up to 50 Geth is starting to sound a little bit more, more believable, actually. I thought that seemed low, but... Nah. I think it is somewhere in that range.
First entry. Our hacking attempts failed. The Geth have an adaptive consciousness. Hack one process and the others autocorrect. Still, we're making progress. Rael Zora is convinced we'll have a viable system in less than a year. This weapon will put our people back on the homeworld, and it's all because of Rael Zora.
And here's something bad. Here's the sadness.
No. You always had a plan. Masked life signs or an onboard medical stasis program, maybe. You wouldn't.
Yep.
They're wrong. You wouldn't just die like this. You wouldn't leave me.
Hey, come here.
Yeah. You gotta do this one.
Damn it.
No matter how heartless you are, you gotta
Nothing to be sorry about.
Maybe he would have known I'd come. Maybe he left a message.
Tali, if you are listening, then I am dead. The Geth have gone active. I don't have much time. Their main hub will be on the bridge. You'll need to destroy it to stop their VI processes from forming new neural links. Make sure Hangerl and Daro Zen see the data. They must.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, so Rael is voiced by Simon Templeton, the same guy who voiced Hangerl. And, yeah, you gotta feel bad for Tali here.
He knew you'd come for him. He was trying to help you. It's not perfect. It's not what you wanted. But it's the best he could do.
I don't know what's worse. Thinking he never really cared, or thinking that he did, and that this was the only way he could show it. It doesn't matter. One way or the other, I cared. And I'm here. And we're ending this.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Poor Tali. Her father was clearly not a very emotionally expressive person. And, he didn't even tell her he loved her before he died. Alright, time to finish this. Flotilla ship.
Need to fight. Hey, that's not the team. Watch out, Shepard.
Get out of my way, Tali.
Got it. Hostile drone.
What are you doing, Tali? Why are you up there?
They're all yours.
Yeah, the drones, that's what makes the drones useful, is is that they serve as distractions. The drones are very useful distractions. Alright. So long, Chitika.
This console is linked to the main hub Father mentioned. Disabling it shut down any Geth we missed.
Hard to know if we missed any.
Some of the recordings remained intact. They'll tell us how this happened, what Father did.
I think we can guess.
You sound like you don't really want to hear it.
No. We have to. I know. This is terrible, Shepard. I don't want to know that he was part of this.
Do we have enough parts to bring more online?
Yes, the new shipment from your daughter will let us add 2 more Geth to the network.
We're nearing a breakthrough on systemic viral attacks. Perhaps we should inform the Admiralty Board, just to be safe.
No. We're too close. I promised to build my daughter a house on the home world. I'm not going to sit and wait while the politicians argue.
We'd have an easier time of it if Tali Zora could send back more working material.
Absolutely not. I don't want Tali exposed to any political blowback. Leave Tali out of this. Assemble new Geth with what we have. Bypass security protocols if need be.
I feel like Rail is supposed to be in that video. Like, I feel like there's supposed to be 3 Quarians in that video. But only 2 were visible.
It sounds like he was doing this for you.
I never wanted this, Shepard. Keela, I never wanted this. Everything here is his fault. I tried to pretend it didn't point to him, but this... When this comes up in the trial, they'll... We can't tell them. Not the Admirals, not anyone.
Tali, without this evidence, you're looking at exile.
You think I don't know that? You think I want to live knowing that I can never see the fleet again? But I can't go back into that room and say that my father was the worst war criminal in our people's history. I cannot.
Okay.
Rail Zora doesn't need you to worry about him anymore. You heard him say he didn't want you to be caught in the politics.
You don't understand, Shepard. They would strike his name from the manifest of every ship he ever served on. He would be worse than an exile. He'd be a traitor to our people, held up for children as a monster in a cautionary tale. I can't let all the good he did be destroyed for this, Shepard.
She's still got loyalty to him. Despite everything, she's still got loyalty to him. Yeah, makes for a tough call. You know, which way do you go?
We're not gonna decide anything here. Let's see what the Admirals say once we get back.
You're my captain in this hearing, Shepard. It's your decision. But please, don't destroy what my father was. Come on. If we wait too long, they'll decide we're already dead, and none of this will matter.
We need to face facts. There has been no word. There is no reason to think Tali Zora survived.
It sounds like the hearing is already underway.
We must trust Shepard's offer of assistance. It's only been a few hours.
Quarian Marines lasted less than 5 minutes, huh? Call it.
A pity Shepard passed Normandy as a better speaker than a soldier. I recommend posthumously exiling Tali Zora. What?
Hey.
It was agreed that Tali Zora would not be convicted if she were killed in action.
It was suggested, Admiral. I recall no agreement. To that end, I call for an immediate vote.
This bit's good.
Very well. Is the Admiralty Board prepared to render judgment?
Sorry we're late.
Yeah, She picked up just a little bit of snark from Shepard here.
Tali Zora Vas Normandy saved the Alarai. I hope this proves her loyalty to the Quarian people.
Her loyalty was never in doubt, only her judgment.
Perhaps Tali Zora can offer something to encourage more trust in her judgment.
Did you find anything on the Alarai that could clarify what happened there?
So you got 3 choices here.
Shepard, please.
Does Captain Shepard have any new evidence to submit to this hearing?
Technically 4 choices. This evidence will get Tali exiled, but you will retain her loyalty. This option will retain her, will get her exiled, but lose her, or sorry, will prevent her exile. So this option will acquit her, prevent her exile, but you'll lose her loyalty. If you don't have high enough charm or intimidate, and if you save both Vitor and I'm blanking on the other guy, Adam Baldwin, Rieger. If you save both Rieger and Vitor, you can use this option, which is a middle option. Yeah, it actually succeeds. This one will succeed. So you don't need to use the evidence. Tali does not get exiled, and you also get her loyalty. That said, I do have the charm and the charm needed for this. So let's go this route.
Tali helped me defeat Saren and the Geth at the Citadel. That should be all the evidence you need.
I fail to see what relevance.
You're not really interested in Tali, are you? This trial isn't about her. It's about the Geth.
This hearing has nothing to do with the Geth.
Liar.
You want people to sympathize with them. Han Garel wants to go to war. None of you care about Tali. She knows more about the Geth than any other Quarian alive. You should be listening to her, not putting her on trial. Tali Zora saved the Citadel.
Garrus sitting at the back.
She saved the Alarai. She showed the galaxy the value of the Quarian people. I can't think of stronger evidence than that.
Are the admirals prepared to render the judgment?
Pretty much forced them into this.
Tali Zora, in light of your history of service, we do not find sufficient evidence to convict. You are cleared of all charges.
Hell yeah, she is.
Commander Shepard, please accept these gifts in appreciation for you taking the time to represent one of our people.
Doesn't really matter which one you go with.
With all due respect, Admiral, I didn't represent one of your people. I represented one of mine.
Hell yeah.
So you did, Shepard.
This hearing is concluded. Go in peace, Tali Zora Vas Normandy. Kila Salai.
I forget if we learn in this game what that means.
I can't believe you pulled that off. What you said.
I forget if it's this game or the second one, or the next one.
I've never had anyone speak like that on my behalf. Thank you for being there for my father and me. Even when... Thank you.
We can still go back in and get you exiled if you want.
Thanks. But I'm fine with things like this. It's fun watching you shout.
Tali, about what your father said. What he did. You deserved better.
I got better, Shepard. I got you.
Aww. Heartwarming.
Come on, Tali Zora Vas Normandy. Let's get back to our ship.
Thank you, Captain.
This looks interesting.
34 Paragon points. That's a lot. So, yeah. I mean, that's the end of the mission, but...
Tali and Shepard are good at killing synthetics. Glad they're on our side.
You should be.
Hello again, Commander. Good luck, Tali.
Very impressive speech, Commander Shepard. But tell me truly, did you recover any of Rael Zora's research on the Alarai?
Nothing that will help you, Admiral.
Pity. Oh well. Whatever is created can be recreated. In any event, I am pleased that our talk regarding the war conundrum allowed you to help Tali. Her exile would have been unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm gonna say she's wrong.
You should abandon your plans, Admiral. They're only going to make the situation worse.
We shall see, Commander. Many things are impossible until they are done.
Not a bad line, that.
Nice talking, Shepard. Funny how it takes a commander to remind the admirals about military honor. Glad they're off your back, ma'am. And that you didn't have to give them that evidence you found on the LRI.
I didn't say anything about finding evidence, Carl.
Noticed that, ma'am.
He's a smart one.
Any idea what your next assignment is going to be?
I'm going to be escorting more techs around to look for signs of dark energy buildup. Maybe see if they can figure out what's causing it. Wherever they send me, it'll have to be less exciting than Haystrom.
Hope so.
What's your take on the war? Are the Admirals going to try to retake the homeworld?
I won't shy away from a fight, but if the Admirals throw the fleet at the Geth, all they'll get back is scrap metal. The best bet would be for us to find another way. But a soldier can't say unless his superiors ask.
Yeah, shame that.
Stay safe out there, Rieger.
You too, Shepard. Ma'am.
Carl, just call me Tali.
I'll work on that, ma'am.
Is it any wonder that people love Rieger? That brief little interaction there, and a couple others, and a couple of moments on Haystrom, but yeah, there's a lot of people who ship Tali and Rieger. See them in a relationship.
The LRI was a good stuff, but there are lots more Geth out there that need killing.
I'll get to it!
The Admirals thought they were humbling you by forcing you to represent her, Shepard. I'm glad they were wrong. You didn't mention survivors. Did you find real Tali? I am sure he would have left you a message if he'd had time.
I'm not gonna say that.
We found Rael's body. He left a message for Tali.
I can only imagine how horrible this is for you, child. But at least you got to hear your father tell you he loved you.
Yes. Thank you, Admiral.
Good luck on your mission. No matter how dark it gets, the fleet is always with you. Keela Salai.
Yeah, I forget if it's this game or the third one where
I knew they wouldn't exile Tali, Zora.
Where we're told what Keela Salai actually means. I'm not going to spoil it.
You called us on the carpet out there, Shepard, and you were right. Thank you. Tali shouldn't have been involved in that argument. Tell me, though, honestly, what did you find over there? You spoke well, but I know a feint when I see it.
Yeah, Tali's called.
Tali, is there anything the Admiral should know?
We found a lot of dead bodies, Admiral. Including my father's, that's all. Whatever research they were doing was destroyed.
I'll take your word for it, Tali. Not that I have much choice. Fight well, and fly safe, kid. Your father would be proud of you.
Though he wouldn't say it. Geralt seems like a nice guy.
Very impressive, Shepard. Thank you for your help on the Alarai. And thank you for helping Rael Zora's daughter. You stood for her when we failed. We were wrong to let our own concerns about the war overshadow Tali's trial.
Yeah, I'm gonna say keep pushing for peace.
The galaxy needs more people saying what you're saying, Admiral. Good luck.
Thank you, Commander.
I mean, I could do that, but there's more people to eavesdrop on.
talk of war gives me hope. Maybe we can retake the whole world in my lifetime.
No.
I can't believe Tali and their captain took back the Alarai.
How's that start?
Alarai was a good start, but there are lots more Geth out there that need killing.
I don't know what's so surprising that we did it. Killing Geth is what I do.
Exile Tali Zora.
Killing Geth is what I do.
Congratulations, Tali Zora. I was skeptical about your choice in captains, but I see now I was wrong.
Thank you, Captain. I'm just glad that this is over.
You'll always have a place on the Raya, whenever you decide to come home. Good luck out there.
Again, reminder that Cardana is voiced by the same person who voices the male Commander Shepard. So, I was skeptical about your choice of captains. If you were playing a male Shepard, then he's basically talking about himself.
Congratulations again.
Anyway, back to the ship. Tali Zora has been cleared of all charges, and her trust in Shepard ensures her loyalty on the mission. Political ramifications of Quarian war efforts against Geth are troubling. Likely to need Quarian forces against Reapers. Cannot risk additional instability. Energy drain! That's a useful one. New tech damage. Eh? Why do I feel like that's some sort of typo? Anyways, any messages, Kelly?
How may I help you, Commander?
Is there anything I should know?
You have unread messages at your private terminal. Anything else, Commander?
Nope. That'll be all.
Good luck out there, Commander. You've received a new message at your private terminal.
Achievement pop-up wouldn't go away. So, her outfit doesn't really change much. So yeah, this is her default outfit. And this is her Cerberus outfit. Her loyalty outfit. I suppose purple switches to... I guess the purple changes. I much prefer this one over this one. Even this one's better. Back from female camp. Oh, hey! Not dark. Dear human, the clan leader told me how to get in touch with you. I don't remember much of what happened, but the chief scout said you pulled my quad out of the fire when I got caught and poisoned over at the Werelock camp. Thanks. Next time I have a chance to kill a human, I won't. Unless I go into Blood Range or something. I got to go to the female camp after I recovered, and it was pretty good. I was actually thinking of joining the Blood Pack before this happened. I think I'm gonna stay here instead. Not dark, Scout 2nd class. Good on him! Glad to help him. Joker. You got anything to say about that mission? Oh yes, he does.
I'm glad that mess is over for Tali, Commander. Some of those Quarians. I guess living your whole life aboard a ship can really mess with your priorities. Not that I would know. I'll just burn myself. Great.
That's it for now.
See you, Commander.
Yeah. Self-burns are always the most painful. Yes. Tech damage. And Morden, I think we'll have something new to say.
Shepard, how can I help?
I think this is, if this is the conversation I think it is, it's a good one.
Have you got a minute to talk?
Yes, good timing, in fact. Excellent. Made breakthrough. Can share results while next samples grow. Hate waiting for culture analysis. Never fast enough. Usually no result in advance. Just checking work. Have to be careful. Getting off track. Discovery. Based on Prothean collector connection, can examine technology, chart Reaper species modification, fall of Protheans.
Sounds interesting.
Tell me what happened.
Early stages similar to indoctrination. Can guess captured Protheans lost intelligence over several cloned generations. Cybernetic augmentation widespread afterward. As Protheans failed, Reapers added tech to compensate. Mental capacity almost gone, replaced by overworked sensory input transfers. Transmitting data to masters.
Is there anything we can do to help them?
No. No glands replaced by tech. No digestive system replaced by tech. No soul replaced by tech. Whatever they were, gone forever. Understand now? No art, no culture, closer to husks than slaves. Tools for Reapers. Protheans dead. Collectors just final insult. Must be destroyed.
I really like that no soul replaced by tech. That is such a good line. I'm gonna do that one last.
I didn't think you needed any more motivation than you already had to stop the Collectors.
Enjoyed challenge. Saw necessity of attack on Collectors after Plague on Omega. Their work, my people. Hard to care about two armies. One wins, one loses. Always work to do after. Now, have more context. See what Collectors are. Wasn't looking for other work before. Don't mean to imply that. Just committed now. Won't let you down.
Good to know.
What is it about the Collector's modifications that bothers you so much?
Disrupts socio-technological balance. All scientific advancement due to intelligence overcoming, compensating for limitations. Can't carry a load, so invent wheel. Can't catch food, so invent spear. Limitations. No limitations, no advancement. No advancement, culture stagnates. Works other way, too. Advancement before culture is ready. Disastrous. Saw it with Krogan. Uplifted by Solarians. Disastrous. Our fault.
You blame the Solarians for what the Krogan did?
Yes. Like giving nuclear weapons to cavemen. Krogan unprepared for spaceflight. Technological advance. Krogan could have evolved alone. Worked out aggression. Been ready to use new tech responsibly. Instead, Solarians came. Disrupted Krogan culture. Used Krogan as blunt instrument against Rachni. Short-sighted. Foolish.
I mean, yeah. There are a few examples in human history of things like that as well. So, yeah.
If you feel that way, why did you work on the genophage modification?
Talked before. Best option. That or kill them all. If around during first contact, would have argued against it. Wasn't there then. Do what I can.
Speaking of his comments about first contact, Cerberus Daily News. In the Cerberus Daily News, there was an article about a book arguing against first contact, which specifically mentioned homogenization of thought and technology as a problem. So it's an interesting little thing, an interesting little idea. Anyway, and now we get one of the best moments.
You said the Collectors had no art. I had no idea you cared about that kind of thing.
Personal interest negligible. Sang a little. Multi-species productions for cultural exploration. Gilbert and Sullivan always had me do the patter songs. But not about me. Cultural artistic expression reflects philosophical evolution, interest in growth, perspective, observation, interpretation. Suspect you won't see any art in Collector base. Culturally dead. Tools for Reapers. Worse than the Geth.
Yeah, I mean, he's right. I mean, regardless of your own personal interest in art, it is an important part of civilization. But anyway, yeah. Now, one of the greatest moments in the trilogy.
I'm sorry, I know that was important, but you perform Gilbert and Sullivan?
I am the very model of a scientist Solarian. I've studied species Turian, Asari, and Batarian. I'm quite good at genetics as a subset of biology because I am an expert, which I know is a tautology. My xenoscience studies range from urban to agrarian. I am the very model of a scientist Solarian.
Yep.
Thanks for sharing what you've learned, Mordin.
Proud to be here, Shepard. Thank you for including me.
Yep. And followed by Shepard just being completely dumbfounded by it is really good too. Like, Shepard has absolutely no response to that. Just stunned silence for a good few seconds. Because what can you say? So yeah, like I said, one of the highlights of the trilogy.
Keela, I'm sorry I dragged you into Quarian politics. All that infighting, seeing what my father did. You were the only one there for me, Shepard. The only cover I had against that storm. Thank you.
Are Quarian politics always like that?
No. Sometimes it can actually get unpleasant. We're a very social people, Shepard. We have to be, to make up for being stuck in these suits. And part of that means getting involved in each other's business.
I imagine they're trying to fill your father's spot on the Admiralty Board. What will that do to the balance of power?
I have no idea. Being exiled might have made it easier. A few people are suggesting me as a candidate.
Why not?
Replacing an admiral takes time, though. You may not have noticed, but Quarians like to debate.
Clearly so.
The whole trial was insulting. You should have had time to mourn your father.
I don't think life is about what you deserve. But my father would be honored that I chose to mourn him by blowing up a lot of gab. I should get back to work. But thanks for checking on me.
No better way of mourning than blowing shit up.
Back for more? I was trying to remember how many Cerberus operatives I've killed. Lost track around 50. Guess your elusive man's big on.
Alright. So that... Oh, actually, Codex. News, something new in the Codex. Quarian live ships. There are few wide open spaces in Quarian spacecrafts. Live ships are the exception. Each ship is a massive hydroponics facility, growing thousands of tons of genetically modified staple crops under artificial light and in highly enriched soil. The surface of a live ship is studded with docking bays, so as many shuttles as possible can distribute the foods throughout the flotilla on a daily basis. When received, the crops are sterilized with radiation, ground up into nutritious pastes, and pumped into the Quarian suits through feeding tubes. In return, waste products that could be used as fertilizer or compost are returned to the live ships through an efficient, if odorous, recycling program. Live ships do not hold animals. The Quarians consume a vegan diet driven not by ethics but by practicality. Captive animals require living space and consume large amounts of water and plant matter. The Quarians cannot afford such an inefficient resource-to-calorie ratio, to say nothing of a live animal's disease or allergen potential. As a result, when the flotilla arrives in the star system where life is based on the same dextro amino acids that the Quarians consume, pastes based on animal proteins fetch highly inflated prices, and the vendors are typically mocked by Quarians wanting a new taste sensation. The sickness that often follows these binges is treated much the same way as hangovers are in human culture. Painful, but part of the overall experience of Excess. No, I'm not doing throw. You can't make me do throw. So, yeah, all the regular all the missions are done, except for the next part, going to the Reaper IFF. That said, oh, whoops. Okay, I'll need to go back to Tachanka for that real quick next episode then. Yeah, we got Project Firewalker. We got an anomaly over here. Crashing ship here. Have I not gotten the, I don't know, have I not gotten the email for the Overlord DLC? Huh. Surprised. Thought I'd gotten that already. Oh, of course, I wouldn't get that until after I do Firewalker. And I do have some side quests left, so next episode I will do 2 or 3 side quests along with hitting up the Shadow Broker base to read more dossiers and watch more videos. But for right now, whoops, I didn't actually need to hit that. Anyway, right now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.